Hey guys, we have a super cool guest today, Anthony Scalia. You may know him as Tony Mangia on Instagram. So, hey, what's up?
What's up, Erica? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on. This is it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to this.
I really am too. I was so happy when you said you would come on the podcast because I've been following your page for quite a while and just everything you're doing, I feel like it just like aligns with the whole vibe of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most important thing is, I guess, making our Italian American, putting to the forefront our Italian American culture, the heritage, the food. So obviously, I mean, I know you're more into pizza. I know your family has a pizzeria, so I know that pizza is your thing. But yeah, I mean, anything Italian American needs to be preserved because we cannot lose it. And I mean, I know we could probably get into it more, but I always say as the further we get away from the initial or the immigration, the great immigration when the people came late 1800s, early 1900s. Sadly, more restaurants, more stores, more shops are closing. So we need people to like yourself and I guess like myself to a certain extent, although I don't have a brick and mortar place, but we need to preserve our culture.
Yeah, like 1,000% agree. And there's so many places that are like, generally generationally owned, family owned, and then you see them closing down and it breaks my heart just because that's what we have in our family. Like my grandfather started in 1960. It's something that I want to see go on forever.
Yes, and it is sad because I mean I think also in but to give some I guess some I guess history or background. A lot of times, I guess when people created a business or they created a restaurant, they created something, it wasn't always for it wasn't maybe there wasn't always longevity in it because they wanted their kids, their grandkids to become lawyers, become politicians, become something other than busting their back, however many 10, 12 hours, maybe more a day, whether it's behind a counter, whether it's, stocking shelves. So I mean, in a way, it's almost like I would say a double-edged sword. Like you want these things to continue, but yet to a certain extent, we also want, I guess, as Italian Americans to become more successful. But in a way, I think that sometimes plumbers and electricians sometimes make more. I know they're making more money than I am.
Yeah, no, I feel like those are starting to be like dying trades, but those are things that we're always going to need forever.
Yes, amen, amen. I mean, you're gonna have to eat, right? We have to eat.
Yeah, we have to eat.
That's my nickname is Tony Manja. Tony eats.
Yeah, no, that's I saw that and I love it. And I want to get into like you and your story and kind of how you were brought up. And I want to start at the very beginning for you.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I was born in, well, I wasn't born at home. I was born in a hospital, Hackensack Hospital
Yeah.
in Bergen County, New Jersey. But I grew up in a town called Lodi. Lodi is a smaller town, not a very big town, but it was predominantly an Italian American town. I mean, you think Lodi or Lodi, as they would say in Italy, it was actually named after the town of Lodi in Italy. And legend has it, it was named by the Marquis de Lafayette, who I guess had something to do with Italy at one point, or he was in Italy. I guess obviously what it looks like now, it didn't look like back in the 1700s when they named the area, or the 1800s. Um, but I guess it was more fields, or it looked more like Lodi in Italy. That's always the legend of how Lodi got its name. So I grew up in Lodi. I grew up in it's just, again, a small town, but my great grandparents, my father's mother's side, my father's father's side, they both came to Lodi. My dad's dad's side was from Sicily, and my dad's mom's side, she was from Salerno, a little town in the province of Salerno, as well as a small town in the province of Reggio Calabria. And my mom, she grew up in a town called Hasbrook Heights, which is one town over from Lodi, and but her family was from Benevento, which is another region of Italy. They were from a town called Guardia San Framondi. They all went to Hackensack. Let's see, my second great grandfather on that side came in like the 1890s. He was one of the, I found his obituary, and it says that he was one of the first Italians to come to the area. And he opened up he had he was into construction. So they had a construction business, and he built a lot of homes. It says in his obituary, he built a lot of homes in northern Bergen County. And I don't know if you're familiar with this area of America, but New Jersey, northern Bergen County is very affluent. It's a very
Yeah.
nice area, high taxes, beautiful homes. So my great grandfather helped to, build part of New Jersey. But again, I grew up in a tight knit Italian American community. I'm an only child. but but both my parents, they were, hardworking people, and my father was a truck driver, my mother was a secretary, it's just, kind of blue collar manual type jobs. But they always the thing about, I guess, our family, everything revolved around the table. So it was always Sunday was always a big day. Sunday, of course, you had the macaroni or the pasta or the spaghetti,
Yep.
whatever it was on Sunday, whether it's gravy or sauce, whatever it was, that's what you had on Sunday. And then obviously, if there was a wedding, if there was a funeral, there was always some kind of food involved in our daily life. And actually, for a short time, my dad owned a small local deli in our town called Rizzo's Deli, and he was a great
Wow.
cook. So he was, yeah. So I have a little bit of that in my background. I mean, he only had it for I don't know, maybe three years. It was short lived, but still, I have some fond memories as a little kid of being in, running around the deli with my dad. So that's
That's
kinda how I started, like, that's, like, my early years. And obviously, I went to high school, I went to college, and in college, I had a radio show. So it was an Italian American radio show, playing, like, Louis Prima on, more of the Italian American side, but also stuff like Lorenzo Giovanotti, who was an Italian singer, or Mino Raitano, or Massimo Ranieri. So I had Lidia Bastianich, who was a famous chef. I had her on my show. I've had Lena Prima on my show. I've had, who else did I have
wow.
on the show back then? Actually, Frank Stallone, not Sylvester. I had Frank, which is Sylvester Stallone's brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was, so I always had, this passion for whether it was food or whether it was for, the arts, quote unquote, the arts. So I mean, my degrees in filmmaking, although I never actually made a film.
That's
In a way,
cool
I think
though.
nowadays with social media, we're constantly making a film. Everything's a film. But yeah, so then in like 2000, and I guess it was around 2010, 2011, me and a few guys, we started a group called Men Who Dine. And we would go to all these restaurants in New York City. We were invited to restaurant openings.
Wow.
We would go to, like, movie premiere. It was actually pretty wild. Then we even filmed a pilot for a Food Network show. Unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere because I'm still here. But no, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that kind of introduced me to the world of New York food. So I did that for about 3 or so years, and then I'll be honest with you, I was like, I wasn't too healthy. I was eating a lot, so I was almost 300 pounds, and I said, it's time to try to make some life changes. And, I left the group, sadly, and we kind of had a bit of a falling out, unfortunately. But that happens sometimes, and I thought that my health was more important. So I kind of didn't really do anything for a while. I mean, I was doing some stuff on social media here and there, but nothing really. Because kind of when we started Men Who Die, like, social media, it was like in its infancy. We really, I mean, we were kind of one of the first ones posting our food. I mean, I was literally taking pictures because our cameras stunk on the
Yeah.
phones. So I
The
was taking
flip
like real
phones.
pictures and then going home onto my laptop and uploading the photos onto, like, Instagram. Yeah, I guess Instagram really wasn't even there yet. It was probably just Facebook. So we had a blog, and we did stuff like that. So that's kind of how I kind of started getting into social media. And then, I mean, I think like everybody else, everybody gets bit by the social media bug. And it kind of just took off from there. And I mean, I just, and I think for me, it's not so much about, like, I know there's a lot of influencers that, and I'm not going to begrudge an influencer if they get paid, that's fine. But I think for me, it's just about, especially for the Italian stuff, it's so important that we preserve it, and that we showcase it, and that we spotlight these people, these people that have busted their butts
Yeah.
for generations to, to continue something. So for me, I kind of, I guess, pivoted a bit more into, like, spotlighting, more Italian businesses. And technically, it doesn't have to be like in a business that was there for 100 years. It could be somebody that's just Italian American, maybe somebody that recently came to America, and they wanted to open something. I mean, I have a very good friend. I don't know if you know the pizza. It's a Neapolitan style pizzeria called Song in Napola. They have a few locations there, one in New Jersey and two in New York City. So I became friends with the owner and the pizzaiolo. His name is Ciro Iovanet, as they say in Italian. So I became friends with him, and so again, his place has been around for 10 or so years. I'm very, very good friends with one of the managers of the restaurant. He's like my brother. I was his best man at his wedding. So you also make friends, and I think that's the thing too. I think sometimes Italians, we can be a jealous people. We could be, he has a better car, they have a nicer house, this one has a better job, this one has more kids, this one has this one has that. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, what does that really mean? I mean, we have to be happy with who we are. We have to be happy with ourselves at the end of the day. Because I mean,
Yeah.
when the good Lord comes to take us, we're all even at that point. So so we should try to help each other as much as we can. And I think sometimes I know stuff like like this, like by spotlighting. I know you do a lot more with pizzerias, but I think by spotlighting these people is so important. Is that it's not being said, I have a pizzeria here, so because you're a pizzeria halfway across the country, I can't talk to you. That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that mentality. But
Right.
it is our, I think it's one of our fatal flaws as Italian Americans. We do have a little bit of that jealousy gene. Like I said, for me, I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to succeed. I think that's the most important thing. Is that everybody should have a piece. We're in America. They say the American dream. Everybody deserves a little piece of that pie.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, obviously, every place you go to, you're not gonna love everything. I'm not gonna say, oh, this is the best restaurant I've ever been to. But for me, when I say if I go to a restaurant and I'm not crazy about the food, what I just do is I don't say anything. Just keep your mouth
Yep.
shut. Don't try to hurt somebody.
Me too.
Don't try to make the don't try to be the I don't know. I don't even know what I just it's just like, no, shut up. No, just shut up and move on. Go to the next thing and just don't hurt somebody because you know what? Somebody loves that place. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody loves it. Somebody loves that pizza. Somebody loves that chicken parm. Somebody loves whatever it is. Somebody loves that place. So just let it go. And I mean, so that's the way I kind of approach things. Again, I mean, like I said, I want to love everything. I like people. I love talking to people. I'm very passionate. As you can see, I using the hands. I talk loud. This is who I am. I mean, what you see is what you get with me.
Yeah.
There really is no acting on my social media. A lot of people, they put like the social media face and a real face. I mean, what you see is what you get. This is me, warts and all. But like I said, it's just for me. It's just our culture is so important. And I think another thing is that a lot of times, sometime, or I should say, not a lot of times, but sometimes Italians from Italy kind of begrudge us as Italian Americans. They say, "Oh, you're not real Italian. What are you? What do you know? What do you know? Chicken parm isn't real. That's that. We don't have that in Italy." And you know what? They're right. I'm not saying that chicken parm is in Italy because it's not. I've been to Italy a handful of times. I've never seen it once on the menu, but this was something, and I'm using chicken parm as an example because it's something that's everybody knows. This is something that when our ancestors came here, they didn't have everything, all the produce, all of the meats, all of the cheeses, all of the
Yep.
beep and bop. They didn't have all that here. So what they had to do is they had to adapt to create something, create a cuisine that was our own. So I always say that Italy has 20 regions, but yet there's really 21 regions because Italian, and I call it Italian America, is the 21st region of Italy because we really are a region of Italy. I mean, yes, do we talk proper Italian? No, we speak our dialects, whether it's Sicilian, Neapolitan, Abruzzese, or even like the northern, the Tuscan dialect. Although I guess proper Italian is more of the Tuscan dialect. But I mean, we have to like I said, we have to accept who we are. We are Italian Americans, number one. I mean, yes, I'm proud to be an Italian. I love my heritage. I love visiting. I still have family there who I visit, occasionally. But it's important that we can't just say, okay, we're only going to have Italian food because really, I mean, Italian food is very, very general. Even if you look at Italy itself, there isn't Italian food because until 1860 there was no Italy. Right, there was these little pockets of kingdoms and where the dukes were and the princes and stuff. So it wasn't a unified. I think America as a country is older than Italy as a country. We're going to be celebrating 250 years. Italy is only, I don't know, I'm not good at math, so 1860 to now, whatever that might be. But that's what Italy is.
Yeah.
Uh, but yes, so I mean, really, if you look about it, even if you go from town to town, these little towns, they might make something one way, that the town next door makes it a totally different way, and they might call it the same thing, they might not. So
Yep.
there's different names. I mean, that's something that I think that is beautiful about the Italian cuisine or the Italian in general. But I know I'm going on a tangent. This is the way I'm just talking. If you have anything you wanted to ask me, please, I'm sorry. Jump in, cut me off, shut
No.
me up.
No, I love it. You're excited. This is so good. No, I mean, there's so many things, but I mean, one of the things is, that really stands out is, Italian Americans keeping legacies alive and making this amazing food. And the places. So I want to talk to you about these different places.
Okay, that's fair, and believe me, I'll probably get even more passionate. I gotta like, hey, buckle up. I gotta buckle my chair before I
Yeah,
start
let's
moving
go.
around too much. But yeah, I mean, for me, and I'm sure you've seen it on my social media. There's one place that means a lot to me that I've really grown to love over the last. I mean, I've been going there since I'm a child, but more so that I'm an adult. I guess I appreciate it more. Is a place called the Belmont Tavern, and that's
Mhm.
in Belleville, New Jersey. I literally go there unless I'm out of town, I have a cold, there's a typhoon, a hurricane, a snowstorm. I'm there Monday nights. That's my Monday night spot. It's just and again, it's its own cuisine. It's not anything that you really find in other restaurants. Maybe here in North Jersey, they'll have some variation of the food that's served at the Belmont, but really, a lot of the dishes were created by the chef who came on. It was and it's interesting because it's actually two businesses in one. There's the kitchen and then there's the bar. So they're two separate businesses, but they
Wow.
operate, I guess, kind of together. So the stretch was the chef. He was a chef back in the '60s until he passed in the '80s. And actually, he's like a if I could use the term half-ass cousin of mine. Pardon my French, but yeah.
Okay.
So one of my cousins I think it's like my third cousin. Is his, I think, first or second cousin. So we're kind of somehow related. But how everybody is in Italian America. We're all related somehow,
Yeah.
one way or another. But yeah, just the place is special. It really is. I mean, it's been around. I want to say since like 1965, and I think 1967 is when they started serving the food,
Wow.
but they're famous for something called Stretch's Chicken Savoy. So Stretch was the chef that supposedly created this dish, Chicken Savoy, and it's pretty much a baked chicken with vinegar, with red wine vinegar. Most people mistakenly use balsamic vinegar. It's not balsamic vinegar. Just when you cook the red wine vinegar, it turns dark, so it looks like balsamic, but it's not.
Okay.
So that's one of their famous dishes there. They also make something called shrimp beeps, which is shrimp in a spicy marinara sauce, which it knocks my socks off every time I go there. That's one of my favorite dishes. And then they have, but really they don't have any other like chicken parm. There's no chicken parm on the menu. They do a pork chop with vinegar peppers. I believe they do also do like a pork chop pizzaioli. But I literally eat the same thing every Monday night.
That's when you know it's good.
We start with the escarole salad, then we go to the shrimp beeps. We have clams oreganata. We have sometimes we do gabardines and pot cheese. That's another thing they're famous for. So pot cheese is pretty much just ricotta cheese or rigot.
Okay.
So it's a sauce with ricotta cheese and mixed in it. A tomato sauce with ricotta cheese. We do that. I love their spicy ravioli. So that's always usually on the table on Monday night. Then from there we'll go to like they do make a really good eggplant parm. So sometimes we'll have eggplant parm if somebody doesn't eat, shrimp or fish or something like that. And then we also do long hots, which are you have to have long hot. Long hots are yeah, you have to have long hots. Long hots are, you know, they're like addicting in a way, like potato chips, and they make them nice and crispy. So even though they're burning your mouth, you still want to eat them. And then we also have the chicken savoy, which I mentioned. We have pork franchise, which is a sliced pork and like a lemony buttery sauce. And we also sometimes we do chicken Murphy, which like what jambota is. We call it jambota. It's like a mix of potatoes, peppers, mushrooms, and it's mixed in with the chicken. So I call the vegetable part jambota, but together we call it chicken Murphy. I don't know
Okay.
where they get chicken Murphy from. I guess the Irish with the potatoes, maybe. I have no idea. So that's our dinner, and then we usually end with a big like if you see on my wrist the macchiato pot. So they have
Yeah.
a big pot of coffee,
I got
and
one
it's beer.
behind you here.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
There it is. Use it
And I
every
have the cup
day.
on it.
Don't wash it.
I have the cup on this hand too.
I like it.
Or you pour the coffee. And we end up with the coffee, and then it's BYOD. So it's bring your own dessert. So you got to
Okay.
bring your own dessert. So that's there. And again, just a place when you step inside, there's the old jukebox as soon as you walk inside. There's a long bar. You cannot eat at the bar. You can only drink at the bar. It's not an eating bar. And then there's some seating to the one side, seating in the back room. It's a small place, but you feel like you are part of the family. But people, when you walk in, hey Tony, how you doing? It's like Cheers. It feels like it's like my Cheers. And I mean, I've been trying to introduce it to people that either haven't never been there or say, you know what, I've kind of forgot about that place. So yeah, that's like my home away from home. That's my Monday home away from home. If you're ever out in New York, come see me in New Jersey on a Monday night, and I'll take you to the Belmont.
I will. I it's already on my plan. My family lives in South Jersey, and I'm
Oh,
gonna make
really?
a trip to North Jersey and New York, and
Please.
I'm gonna stop there.
You better. I'm holding you to it. But yeah, so I mean that's like that's just a great old school northern New Jersey Italian American restaurant. But there are so many other great spots that that I try to go to. Even like I guess even old school, new school. There's places in New York City. Obviously, growing up, my dad was always in Little Italy. There was a little place right on Mulberry Street. Unfortunately, it's no longer there. It was called Casa Victoria. So I remember as a kid, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old, he would take me there on the weekends and they would hang out outside, they would drink their coffee. And I was running, as a little kid running up and down Mulberry Street. It was just so I have so many fond memories. I know people say, Little Italy is touristy, but for me, that's part of who I am. That's part of my culture. That's part of my history. That's part of my
Yeah.
stories. I always get a little defensive when people knock Mulberry Street because, again, like I said, I've been going there since I before I could even remember. So I have a very fond memories of Mulberry Street. I mean, I also places on Mulberry Street I love Danico. I don't know if you've ever been to Danico on
Mm-mm.
Mulberry Street. Great restaurant, still in the same family. Not super old, not like, 50, 60 years old. I think they're maybe like 30 years old, but still,
Okay.
I mean, it still has some longevity. But I mean, there are just, I mean, but also just, if you're walking up and down the street, stop in, try it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Move on, go to someplace else. But and you have places in Brooklyn. I mean, places like Beaumont. Have you heard of Bamonte's?
No.
Bamonte's, their claim to fame is that they actually invented chicken parm.
Okay.
That's their claim to fame. It's they invented chicken parm. Whether or not it's true, I'm not too sure, but I tell you, they make a damn good chicken parm. They actually make a really good. I mean, being from New Jersey, growing up, we used to go down the shore. We call going down the
Yep.
Jersey Shore. So we would always have crab sauce. So they make a dynamite crab sauce at Bamonte's as well. And speaking of crab sauce, there's a place in South Philly that is a members only club called Palizzi Social Club. Have you heard of it?
I have not, but I used to go to Philly all the time, and I lived in South Jersey.
I personally love Philly.
Me
Philly, I think,
too.
is one of those cities that it gets a bad rap. There is so much good food in Philly.
Yep.
Don't sleep on Philadelphia. Do not sleep on it because there are, and I'm not just talking Italian food. There's great restaurants throughout the city.
Yeah.
But for me in particular, like I said, there's a place called Palizzi Social Club. Years ago, it was an all guys and all men social club.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, as the neighborhood changed and as the members passed away, the social club was going to fold. It was going to close, and that was going to be they were going to sell the building. That was going to be the end of it. There was one of the members, I think nephews, actually he became the president of the club, and he saved it by making it into a dining club. So you need to be a member to go inside, or if you go, you have to go with a member. So you just
Okay.
can't walk in. You can't make a reservation and walk in. You need to be a member to actually dine there. There's no pictures allowed inside, no videos, no pictures, no posting on social media. So
Wow.
it's cash only. So kind of that old school. Actually, I should have mentioned Belmont's cash only as well.
I like
So
the
it has that.
cash-only places.
You gotta love cash only places. I mean, that's old school. That's like really old school cash
Yeah.
only. Um, but yeah, they have a very simple menu, nothing crazy, but the place is beautiful, beautiful bar. The old school chairs, the old school tables, and they make a dynamite crab sauce there as well. But like I said, South Philly, you have Dante and Luigi's, another old school spot. Great, great, great place. There's Villa di Roma in South Philly, Ralph's in South Philly, which I think Ralph's is currently, I believe, the oldest Italian restaurant in America in the same family.
Wow.
I think before that it was a place in San Francisco, but I think within the last 20 or 10 years they sold it out of the family. They might even change the name now. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know that Ralph's definitely has. It's been around for a long time. Like I said, there's there. That's so. I mean, Philly's a great place, which I love to visit. I'm actually overdue for a trip to Philly, and of course, a Philly cheesesteak. I mean, who doesn't love a Philly cheesesteak, right? I
Yeah.
mean, what the heck? I mean, that's like heaven on a roll.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have them when you go there.
Absolutely. I mean, Boston has a great. Have you been to Boston, literally?
I've been to Boston, and I've been to a couple restaurants, and it's awesome there.
Oh my God, it almost feels like what New York was like when I was a kid. It still has
Mhm.
Still has that feel to it in a way. You still hear Italian being spoken, although the neighborhood is changing, but that's everywhere. In America, neighborhoods are changing, but
Yeah.
it still has a feeling of a neighborhood. And they put on, to be honest with you, I mean, I love San Gennaro feast, I love Santa Rosalia feast, I love the feast in New
Yes.
Jersey, but they put on some of the best Italian feasts in America.
Wow.
Their St. Anthony feast at the end of August, one of the best I've ever been to. Their St. Agrippina, which is in the beginning of August, another great feast. What else? I'm trying to think the other feasts they do. They do a couple other ones, but those are the two that I usually. Oh, they do one called the Fisherman's Feast, which is like the middle of August. It's around the Assumption, the Feast of the Assumption, and
Okay.
they actually put these two little girls. There's two buildings on either side, and they put these little girls in like these angel outfits, and they put them out the window, and they meet, and then they say a prayer above this big statue of the Madonna, which is it's absolutely amazing. And if you've never seen that, but I would highly recommend to try to make a trip around the Fisherman's Feast in Boston, which, like I said, is usually like the middle of August. And but yeah, Boston has some, even just their cafe culture is great. Their pastries are great.
Yeah.
I love Boston, and I haven't really traveled too far west other than say Chicago, and I think Chicago is another great food city. Actually one of the best steakhouses I've ever been to is in Chicago, Gibson's, which I know
Mhm.
it's not really Italian, but the steak was dynamite, absolutely dynamite. And I actually went out there for an Italian feast. It was Labor Day weekend a couple of years ago, and they do the same thing with the girls on the dressed as angels off the scaffolding,
Yeah.
and they're saying these prayers. It's really wild to see these traditions continue. And I think that's something that I think it's important as well. Besides just also about the restaurants and the stores and stuff like that, it's important to continue the traditions. So that's whether it's a feast, whether it's growing up. I'm from Lodi, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Our big feast was St. Joseph's feast. We had a church. My great grandparents founded the church back in the early 1900s. They were one
Wow.
of the founding families of the church, St. Joe's in Lodi. And we although St. Joseph is celebrated in March on the liturgical calendar, we always celebrated Labor Day weekend. And that was always like the bittersweet part of the summer, because it was, well, we're getting ready for the feast, but guess what? Next day we're going back to school. So that was always like, it's we can't wait for the feast, darn it, tomorrow's school. So that was that, that. So we're growing up, I mean, the Zeppelis, the sausage and peppers, I mean, all the feast staples, the rides, the music. It was just, and what's great about even St. Joe's, they're still continuing the tradition. They still have the feast, they still have the procession, they still have the mass, and all the pomp and circumstance that goes along with it. And even one of my dear friends, I don't know if you know Pat O'Boyle. He's with the Italian American podcast.
No.
Him and John Viola, they host the Italian American podcast. They actually have a studio in Little Italy on the corner of Mulberry and Grand.
Mhm.
But Pat, he runs an amazing feast, like an old school Italian American feast,
Wow.
in a little monastery in New Jersey, right off of Route 3, right, which is like 20 minutes from New York, right on the highway outside of the Lincoln Tunnel. It's called the Madonna di Sacramonte Feast. And that's like the middle of May. I think it's like the 16th or 17th. It's the Saturday of that weekend. I forget what the date is this year. But he puts on a great feast. And, it's more of a church feast, or
Yeah.
more of like it's about the saint. It's about the Madonna from our. Actually, it's part of where my family's from in Italy as well.
Yeah.
So they have music and they have food. So it's a really nice way to kind of continue these traditions. And unfortunately, or for many years, that feast was dormant. It kind of died. And Pat, about, oh man, I'm trying to think, maybe 12 or so years ago, he actually found this statue in like a warehouse in Pennsylvania, because I guess they had gotten rid of it somehow, and he
Yeah.
he was he was able to find the actual statue that they used to have in Jersey City, New Jersey, and he brought back to life this feast. So I mean, even things like that happen. I mean, there could be things that were dormant for years, but yet somebody has a passion. They remember their grandma talking about it, or their nonna, somebody talking about it, and you know what? It kind of goes into their head. They say, I want to do something. I want to bring something back. And even if there's a group of young Italian Americans up in Springfield, Massachusetts, they did the same thing with one of their feasts. So it's just good to see young people also involved, young people wanting to be a part of the community. Because again, like I mentioned about the jealousy and stuff like that. Sometimes some Italian Americans, they get a little, they don't want to get rid of the power. They don't want to get rid of, they kind of want to hold on to They want to keep the grip on the society or whatever it could be, the feast. Sometimes we need you when young people are willing to help you, when they're willing to give you, whether it's their time, talent, treasure, you know what? You have to accept that. You have to you want this thing to continue forever,
Yeah.
or as long as humanly possible. And if somebody wants to help, you have to say, okay, maybe it's time to loosen the reins a little bit and let somebody come in and maybe some fresh perspective. Also, social media is great for that. I mean, I have a good friend, Louis Nicastro. Give him a shout out. He's always trying to recruit people to help with different feasts and stuff like that. So it's just it makes me happy to see that there are young people that still have this love and this stuff gives them. It gives us joy and love and hope. But yeah, I mean that's again that's I'm tearing through. I'm going on a tangent.
Yeah, no, I love it though. It's so cool. I mean, keeping those traditions alive is one of the main reasons why I wrote my book. It's one of the things that my dad taught me growing up. It's why we still have Sunday dinner together. It's why we still do so many things in our family. It's just because of that. Let's move over to pizza because I know that you know who has good pizza.
I love pizza. I've been trying to lose some weight, so I haven't been eating that much pizza lately. But pizza. If I could, I'd probably eat pizza breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Same.
7 days a week.
Yep.
But yeah, and again, I mean, pizza. There's a gentleman. Do you know Paulie G?
Yeah.
So Paulie G says there's something called the pizza cognition theory.
Okay.
It's something like the first pizza you ever eat is the pizza you judge every pizza on until the day you die.
Believe
So
it.
for me, there was a pizzeria growing up. It's still there, thank God. It's called Louis Nicastro. So that's like my memory of my first pizza is Lodi Pizza. I've been going there again since I can't even remember, since I'm a child. It's right on Route 46, Lodi, New Jersey. Small spot. Been there since the 70s, but they make a great Sicilian pie. One
Mm.
of the best Sicilian pies. They don't make a very thick Sicilian pie. It's more of a thin Sicilian pie, but that is like well done. It has to be well done. A well done Sicilian pie from Lodi Pizza on a Friday night. That's like childhood. That brings back childhood memories. But yeah, that's definitely one of my spots. And again, that's more of an old school spot. Then you have places like Pizza Town, which is that's another. Have you heard of Pizza Town in New
No.
Jersey? Another place been around. I want to say since the late 50s, maybe 56. I don't remember the date. The family recently sold it to a new owner, but they kept everything the same. The place looks exactly the same. He put a fresh coat of paint on it, so it's a little bit more brighter than it was as I remember as a child.
Yeah.
It's one of those old. It was like literally like a highway pizza stand. So you kind of drive up, walk inside. There would be in the summertime. I remember they would take all the they would have like the glass off, and it would kind of be open, and they made great just like they call it Brooklyn style pizza.
Mhm.
Excellent thin crust pizza, and one thing that they would make, which not many places do, they made zeppoli like all year round. Usually, when you think of zeppoli, you only think of like for feast season, like for the feasts.
Yeah.
But Pizza Town, they make zeppoli all year round, and they make a fried calzone with ham and ricotta cheese. That's like that's like heaven. I mean, that's I mean, Lord Pizza's heaven. That's another. But it's another food that I remember as a child going there, and even into like I still go there. I mean, if you get home a little late, maybe had a beer or two at dinner, or may not. Maybe when we went clubbing, that was always a place you would always end up. But you would end up at Lord Pizza because I mean, excuse me, you would always end up at Pizza Town because they're open till like 2, 3 in the morning. So it was always there. But I mean, so for me, like those are two ones that are part of my upbringing because that's where I grew up. I mean, Lodi Pizza in the town I'm from, Pizza Town, 2 towns over from where I'm from. So those are like important pizzas to me. But then there's other pizzerias. There's a place, another place, been around for 90 years called Barcelona's.
Uh-huh.
It's on Harrison Avenue, Garfield, New Jersey. Garfield is another town over from Lodi, so all in the same area. Old school bar, but they make dynamite pizza. I mean, I probably, like I said, I haven't been eating pizza as much as I used to, but I would usually have that pizza like once a week as well. That was always like a once a week pizza. But just like, and I'm a sucker for salty cheese. I don't know why. I love salty cheese.
Yeah.
Maybe because I want to drink a little bit more wine then. So the salty cheese, the nice cold red wine. Oh my god! But yeah, Barcelona's. But it's also a restaurant. So they make steak sandwiches. They make meatballs. They make the veal. They make all the other Italian American specialties. But they're famous for their pizza. So that's again another place that I kind of have some nostalgia
Mhm.
about. It's a good spot. But then there's new places. There's these new school New school, old school pizzerias, I call them. And one of my dearest friends, he opened a place in Rutherford, New Jersey called Casano's. I don't know if you've heard of Casano's. It's kind of like it looks like your grandmother's living room circa 1970. So he has the old couches, there's
Yeah.
the old TV, but he's making some dynamite pizza. And he makes a great actually his chicken parm is one of the best chicken parms I've ever had, hands down. He makes a dynamite chicken parm, and he's a friend of mine. So he's a good guy. We hang out there when it's nice out because there isn't that much seating inside. We'll sit outside. We have the old school, lawn chairs. We'll smoke cigars. We bust chops and we eat pizza. So it's just a lot of fun, to be around, a group of guys that appreciate, good food, good company, good laughs. So that's one of my other go to pizzerias. But then you have places in the city. I mean, like I said, Sognapola, which is more of a Neapolitan style pizzeria, and I know that not everybody, I don't want to say appreciates, but not everybody understands Neapolitan pizza because it's very different than a New York slice. It is
Yeah,
not a New York slice. Neapolitan pizza and New York pizza, two totally different pizzas.
totally
I mean,
different.
there's something called Neo-Neapolitan, which has a more of a, I guess, more of a New York style in a way that it's more cooked. But like true Neapolitan is like you could literally fold, like they call it a portafolio. Like you fold it and you can put it like in a piece of wax paper and eat it and go. But I mean, really, it's kind of like it's also like a knife and fork pizza because it's a little bit more wet.
Yep.
The dough's a little softer, but again, I mean, there's a time and place for it. I personally do love it. I mean, can I eat it every day? Probably not. I think I could eat more New York style pizza every day.
Yeah.
A Neapolitan pizza, believe me though, like yeah, I had it twice within the last. I had it. I'm trying to think, I had one Sunday night, and then I might have had one like 2 weeks before that or a week before that. But still, I mean, like it was just it was good. I mean, I enjoy a Neapolitan pizza. It's different. It really is different. And then, then there's like L&B Spumoni Gardens. They make a great,
Mhm.
the Brooklyn Square style pizza, with cheese on the bottom, sauce on top. It's just a good old school square slice. I mean, but again, I mean, I could be here until the cows come home talking about all the great pizza spots. I mean, I haven't really tried pizza, I guess, outside of New York, New Jersey, so I don't really I don't really know too much outside of this area. I know that your family has a pizzeria, which I'm trying to go. And I should have, which I didn't mention earlier. Pittsburgh has a great little Italy, or a great Italian community
Really
as well.
does.
I was out there 2 years ago, actually around this time 2 years ago, and I have some friends out there from an organization called the Italian American Future Leaders. So it's a conference we have every January in South Florida. So kids, I call them kids. It's 21 to 35-year-olds from throughout America. They come to South Florida and they try to solve the problems or the issues in Italian America. So I met some great kids from Pittsburgh, and we made a trip out to Pittsburgh about 2 years ago. And I was just blown away by the hospitality. The people are absolutely amazing. The
Yeah.
food is dynamite. I even had the opportunity to go to Steubenville to see where Dean Martin was from. Although unfortunately the
Nice.
house is no longer there, we did go to the bakery. It's I guess one of the older bakeries in that area, Steubenville Bakery. It's like an old brick oven bakery, and they make like a pizza, I guess like a style of pizza, more like I guess like a bakery pizza. But yeah, I mean, I did want to give some props to Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania, great area.
Yeah, we need to have you out for pizza.
Yeah. So I said I'm trying to. I do have friends in Pittsburgh. I'm trying to figure out how I could kind of do because you're close to Pittsburgh, right?
We're about an hour and a half out.
That's close. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes me an hour and a half to get to New York City with
Right?
traffic. So I mean,
Yeah.
but there is another place I want to go out there. I think it's in shoot.
Is
It's
it
called the
Slice in New
Bucci.
York?
I'm sorry.
Is it Slice in New York pizza?
No, it's an old school Italian like social club that serves dinner. They serve so it's the Buccinese Club.
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't think it's Aliquippa. I think it's Altoona. I think it's in Altoona,
Well, it's
Pennsylvania.
right near Altoona's right near where the pizzeria is.
So I'm almost positive it's Altoona,
Yeah.
and they have they do like I guess like on the week. I think it's only in the week. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
So I know we were driving back for Pittsburgh and we were going to stop, but just it didn't work out. But
Mhm.
they have like a dinner. Like you go there, you have dinner at this old school social club. And so that's on my list. So if I do make it back, I must think if when I make it back out there, I'm going to go to your family's pizzeria. I'm going to the Buccinese Club, and I'm going back to Pittsburgh.
Love it. And then you need to stop at Leon's Subs. They've been open over 100 years.
Really?
Yep.
Is that in your town or
Like a block away from my family's pizzeria.
Really? What's it
Yeah, it's
called?
like a little Italy. It's like a there's
Really?
Rizzo's restaurant's been open about maybe 100 years. Leon's been open 100 years. My dad's been open 65 years. My grandpa
Wow.
opened it, but it's a whole little place, and there's all these little places to eat.
Oh my god, yeah, that's that and see that I love because there are these little I call them little Italies, or these little Italian enclaves. There are so many of them throughout America that people just overlook. They
Yeah,
overlook
I
them. Like,
know.
I mean, I guess even to a certain extent, where I'm from, Lodi was a little Italy at one time. I mean, yeah, it's changed a lot, but we, within our area, we still have some bakeries, we still have some restaurants, but there are even like there's a town called Raritan, New Jersey, small town, very small town. Actually, that's its claim to fame. That's where John Basilone.
Okay.
He was a famous, well, he was a Marine. He
Mhm.
passed away in one of the battles, but he was like a Purple he got a bunch of awards, but he was from Raritan. But in this little town, there's like 4 or 5 great Italian places. Actually, one of the famous places is called DeLucia's Pizzeria.
Mhm.
Have you heard of DeLucia's?
No.
Dave Portnoy gave him like a 9 something. He still has a line out the door. You can't even get in the place.
Oh my
Old
gosh.
school brick oven, one of the oldest brick ovens in America. I forget what year it dates to. I can't remember now. It slips me. It escapes me right
And
now,
I
but
may have seen that review because it was like it's like a real little place, right?
small, yeah, not very
Yep.
big. Yeah, I mean, the front of the house is very maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 seats or tables, and then, I mean, the back is big because he has this huge oven back there, the old school oven. But, yeah, I mean, but so there's that place. There's a place called Espo's that's been there since the '70s. Of the Italian bakeries there. There's a couple Italian bakeries. So there are these little Italian enclaves that people constantly overlook. And again, it's just throughout America. This isn't just everybody. When people think about Italy or Italians or Italian Americans, they think about New York. Maybe they think about Boston. Maybe they think about Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Maybe they think about Chicago, and then that's it. But even like on the West Coast, San Francisco has a little Italy. San Diego has a little Italy. Even
Yeah.
Los Angeles has a little Italy. Omaha, Nebraska has a little Italy. So I mean, there are so many places that Italians went to, and again, I mean, whether it was for some places, it might be for I guess in Pittsburgh or in that area in West Virginia, a lot of it was mining or for the steel mills.
Yeah.
I've been to Fairmont, West Virginia. I have a friend there. He's a director. His name is Robert Tinnell. His family is Calabrese. He made a movie called Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Oh, I know exactly what I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah, so actually, I'm friends with the director of that movie. I was out there, so he
Wow.
does. They were doing. I don't know if they still do. I'll be honest with you because I didn't see anything this year. They do a Feast of the Seven Fishes in early December, and we had to go. I had went out there with a couple of friends, and maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, of all weekends, it was a terrible storm. So
No.
we were like literally an hour away from Fairmont. We get a call. Yeah, the feast is canceled this year.
No.
So, but we still made the best of it. We hung out with Robert. We went to a couple of places, and it was definitely a great trip. And again, just to think that this little town, Fairmont, West Virginia, loaded with Italians, and from like one little town in Calabria.
That's incredible. There's so many hidden gems, and that's why I wanted to talk to you because I think that people overlook the legacy, the history, the traditions that are in almost every single town in America that Italian immigrants have come over and brought these things to.
You're absolutely right. I mean, and again, like I said, I'll say it's on blue in the face. It's just wherever there was a need for work, the Italians went to.
Yeah.
Italians, they are not afraid to get their hands dirty. They're not afraid to bust their backs if it's going to make their families better off. And actually, I really I'm angry at myself for not mentioning this sooner. New Orleans, New
Yeah.
Orleans. It's actually one of my favorite cities in America, and I have friends there. They're going to be mad at me for mentioning it so late in the game here, but New Orleans is one of my favorite cities, one of my favorite food cities. Not just for Italian food, just for food in general, but the people there. The people are some of the nicest, most open, most warm people that I ever met. And I have lifelong friends now that I met in New Orleans. They do a St. Joseph's festival
Mhm.
around St. Joseph's Day in March, and they do a parade through through the French Quarter. And Dave Greco, who has Mike's Deli up here in the Bronx,
Mhm.
he goes down there. He makes 1,000 pounds of pasta con sarda, pasta with the sardines, for this
Wow.
big Friday luncheon. And two. not this year because I couldn't make it down this year for prior commitments. But the last 2 years, I actually went down there. I helped them in the kitchen cook, 1,000 pounds of bucatini, and
Mm,
just to see, just to see the smiles on people's faces when they're bringing out these trays of pasta consarda is just it's just oh, I love it. I just love everything about New Orleans and its Italian history. And sadly, I mean, which I don't know if many people know, the largest mass lynching in American history was perpetrated against Italian Americans in New Orleans.
wow.
Not many people know that. That's a little like history that not many people know. So it was in man, which is actually the reason why we have Columbus Day. And not to change the subject too much, but because of that mass lynching, the Columbus Day was introduced as a holiday to celebrate Italians and their contributions to America.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, not many people understand that part of it, but yeah, that's for another conversation. But yeah, I mean, New Orleans, great, like the muffalettas, and there's a place in New Orleans. Actually, oh, I should mention. I'm sorry, I'm
No,
thinking
go ahead.
as I'm
I
talking
wanna
about.
hear about it.
There's a place called Moscas. It's not in New Orleans. It's what's the name of the town? It's just outside of New Orleans. It's on like a back road, like you wouldn't even know it's there. It's like a white house, and they are making some of the best Italian American food I've ever had.
Wow.
Just a small joint. I think now I think you can call and make a reservation, or you can email them. I think that you can email them now. But yeah, I think I had to make like it was like a month out before it took me a month to get the reservation. I told him I'm coming down from New Jersey. I want to go to this place. I want to try this place,
Yeah.
and then I was able to snag a reservation. But yeah, the food there was unfriggin' believable. It was like they make a great chicken. They make oysters. They make oh my god, this I mean everything there. Everything I had there was outstanding. It's like one of those places. Some of those places when you eat something, you're like, wow. I wish I had more access to this. I wish I could come here weekly, but unfortunately, it's like however many miles it is from North Jersey. So, I have to get my butt back down there soon, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have gone over so many amazing places. This is gonna be like the food guide for 2026.
I mean, yeah, I mean, again, we could probably be here for another 5 hours talking about places to go and people to see and things to do. I mean, but again, like I said, there is just so much. I mean, and then again, there are so many places that I'm forgetting, and that doesn't mean that I don't like them. It just means that we only have a certain amount of time to talk about all these amazing spots. But like I said, I think at the end of the day, if we could find a place that we feel comfortable at, that we know the people. When you walk in, they say, "Oh, there's Tony. There's this one. There's that
Yep.
one." They know who you are. I mean, I think that's something that also Italians are really good at. They're good at welcoming people. Um, being to a certain extent to being welcoming. But if you go to a pizzeria every Friday, you think by, after a couple of times, you're gonna know your order. They say, "Oh, here's Tony. He's gonna get the Sicilian and, whatever, a bottle of Coke,
Yep.
whatever it is." So I think that it's just, but also I think as a consumer, when we go to these places, don't come in there with like a arrogance about you. Like kind of meet the people where they are. A lot of these people are working class people.
Yeah.
You want don't start throwing, especially now with social media. They're taking the cameras and they're putting it in people's faces. I mean, you maybe just get a relationship working first before you start doing things like that.
Yeah.
Because especially maybe more so for the old school than for the newer restaurants. But I think, kind of you have to respect, as they said in The Sopranos, respect the pizza parlor. You got to respect the pizza parlor. You have to, show respect to these people because again, this is their livelihood. This isn't just
Yeah.
something that they said, screw it, I'm going to open a pizzeria. No, this is something that was either that they did from their hard work and their blood, sweat, and tears, or something that was handed down to the next generation. So I think it's important to also respect the legacy, respect the hard work, respect the product because
Yeah.
people will consciously think about what they're putting into their product. It's not like it's just a dollar slice on the corner in New York. This is something that people they get up early in the morning to make the dough. They get up
Yeah.
early to whatever, cut the cheese, whatever whatever they're doing to prepare for the day. Thought is going into it. So even though maybe people think that they're only using their hands, it's not just their hands. It's their body. It's their mind. It's their eyes. It's their body. It's their soul. It's their heart.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we have to appreciate these people, appreciate again, like I said, I'm not talking about the dollar slice joints. I'm talking about the people that really care about what they do, people that have been doing it day in, day out, have missed I'm sure missed births in their families, missed weddings, missed funerals because they had to go to work to put food on the table to be able to provide for their family. So I think that's something that we have to also realize, that the sacrifice that a lot of places like your family's places or these other places that we talked about, the sacrifices that they made, obviously to make the family get ahead, but also they're bringing some joy to other people's lives. You think about it, whether it's a restaurant, that serves somebody at a wedding, at a happy time, that serves somebody at a sad time during, maybe a repast for a funeral.
Yep.
These are all things that we have to think about. It's not just, I think a lot of times people think that restaurant business is easy, and that's the
It's
last thing it
not.
is. It's not. It is not an easy business. You're not just grabbing something and just throwing it on a table. You're not just throwing a plate. If they do that, then you know what? That for me in particular, that's not a place for me. I want a
Yeah.
place where everything is where it's reciprocal. Like I appreciate what the chef is doing and the owner's doing, and they appreciate me coming in and giving them business. So I think it's a very cyclical thing, and I think far too often. I mean, not to, again, not to knock influencers. If a restaurant, if a pizzeria gives somebody something for free and they don't come back, that's like a almost like a smack in the face in a way. I mean, if you truly genuinely like something and if you think that it's worth posting about, go back to them.
Yeah.
Give them your money.
Support
Support them.
them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing
Yeah.
to post about them once, but if you go there, like, I mean, the places I go there constantly, and I'm constantly posting about them. So I
Yeah.
think it's important that it's not just one and done. I mean, again, like I said, if it's something that you don't like, don't say anything and just move on. But if it's something that you actually genuinely care for and something that you like and something that you enjoy and you enjoy bringing people to, you know what? Then go there as much as you. I'm not saying go there every day. I'm not saying even go there every week, but go there as much as you can and talk about the place. Say, oh, Anthony, what's your favorite place? Oh, it's such and such a pizzeria. Why? And then you list the reasons. You have to back up what you believe. You have to back up what you say or what you do. I think that
Yeah.
that's a very important thing as well.
Yeah, I agree. Support them, write positive reviews, share them on social media, tell other people to go there.
Yeah,
So that's why the podcast exists, is to
and
let
and
these
I
people have
think
a stage.
that's why I think social media is a blessing and a curse in many ways. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's important for businesses to be on social media, but to kind of showcase what they have, because sometimes, I mean, especially maybe places that have been around for a long time that maybe that don't they're not in an area like northern New Jersey or New York. People don't know about them. So people nowadays, we have cars, we have planes, we have trains. We can get to these places. We have social media, so we can look. Oh man, I want to go out to your family's. I'm saying, me personally, I want to go to your family's pizzeria. I want to make the trip. I think I looked it up on Google Maps. I think it might be like 5 hours. But what
It
the heck's
is.
5 hours? I mean, really, what is it? I mean, there's a thousand things I could probably do along the way. Places to stop, people to see.
Yep.
I mean, that's. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get to it this month, but I do hope by the end of the summer to make a trip out to see your family's pizzeria.
Well, let me know when you do. I should be there some of the summer, so I would love to be there at the time. If not, I know
That
my
might,
dad will
yeah, we
host
might.
you.
We'll have to try to sync up to make it more. So that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, thank you so much for your time.
Oh,
This was
thank you.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You don't know what it means, Eric. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry I rambled so much. I'm sorry I'm passionate. I'm sorry I
I
talk with my
love it.
hands and I'm constantly moving around. But this is just something that I love to talk about, something that I think that needs to be talked about. And I
Yeah.
appreciate people like you for having people like me to be able to have like I said, an outlet or a platform to be able to talk about all these great places. And I want to thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, listen, if you don't already follow him, go follow him at Tony Manja on Instagram.
Thank you.